My name is Catherine Powell, and this is my Assignment 3, Informal Assessment Strategy, Simple Quizzes. What is Sli.do? Sli.do is a web-based question and answer tool used for audience interaction. How does it work? Learners will use their mobile device by going to Sli.do.com and entering the code provided by the instructor. The instructor will have created all the questions prior to the session and will release the questions as needed. The questions will pop up on the learners' phones, and the learners will have a set time to respond to the questions. They could be fill in the blank, multiple choice, or short answers. Once the answers are submitted, they will show on the screen in front of the room, and the learners will be able to see all the answers that were submitted by the other learners. They can also then see where they scored against each other. The instructor will then talk about the correct answer, giving the learners the answers to their question. It's gamification of quizzes in a session. In what context would Sli.do work best? The first one is in a large training group. It's a quick way to do knowledge checks without wasting the learner's time checking their own work. It also saves the instructor time from having to mark quizzes. Next is in the pre-assessment. By doing a quiz in the pre-assessment, it motivates the learners by showing them what they need to know and what to pay attention to throughout the session. It also helps the instructor to know what content they need to go through in the session. Next is throughout the training. By doing short quizzes throughout the training, it helps the learner remember key information. Next is in post-assessment. By doing a quiz at the end of the session, it helps the instructor to assess what was learned and what still didn't land. The advantages and limitations of Sli.do. The advantages include increased engagement by the learners. It helps learners remember content through the assessment of knowledge. It also helps that Sli.do is anonymous, so for those who are afraid to speak up loud and find difficulty answering questions in a session, it gives a learner a way to anonymously answer questions and to still see if they got the question right. It gives everyone the opportunity to answer, rather than having to wait for different people to speak up and answer questions. Everyone can answer the same question at the same time. It also helps instructors know what is or is not landing based on questions that are unanimously wrong or right. That way, the instructor can continue on working with the content or change it up if things aren't landing. It keeps learners engaged. What learner doesn't love gamification in a session? It keeps things fun and keeps learners learning. There are some limitations, though, to the use of Sli.do. Sli.do costs money for a company to use all the features, and unless a company is willing to invest money into this tool, it doesn't function as it should. Also, because the answers are anonymous, the instructor cannot tell who's having difficulty learning. And this could pose an issue at the end of the session, knowing who really did get the work and who did not. Also, some learners need more time to answer than others. Some learners need a couple minutes, some need more. Everyone is different. Some subjects require further demonstration, clarification, and practice. Those are the type of subjects that Sli.do wouldn't be best for. As Edoboy said, lecturers can use these tools, many of which are free, to determine what students already know and what should be concentrated upon. There are so many tools out there, so many apps on the phone that we can use in sessions for quick quizzes. Best practices on how to use it. The first one is having proper setup. Ensuring you're using this with a larger group. With a smaller group, it wouldn't be as anonymous, and that could pose an issue with the learners. Ensuring the setup of all the questions beforehand. In order for it to run smoothly, the questions need to be preset, and the instructor needs to know exactly when to release the questions. Number 2 is prepare your learners. Upon arrival of the learners to the session, they need to know how to set up the Sli.do and how to enter in the code. They also need to know the guidelines for using the Sli.do for quizzes. Number 3, that questions are in the conceptual and remembering level of Bloom's taxonomy. This is the best way to have quizzes that are quick and easy. Number 4, print out questions and answers at the end. This is to help the learner so that they can have a printout and know exactly what they had gotten correct and what they did not get correct. How to provide feedback to the learners using Sli.do. One way is to answer questions posted on the screen. Learners can see what they got right and what they got wrong. Another way to provide feedback to learners is getting those real-time answers for instant gratification. The learners will know exactly what they did right and what they did wrong. If questions are in pairs, they can receive feedback from each other. So in that moment when they're trying to figure out the question and answer, they can be receiving feedback from each other. Learners will also get a printout at the end of the session with the questions and answers so that they can have a tool to go back on if they want to reference what happened in the session. And learners will know in the moment what content they need to focus more on, and they'll be receiving that feedback in the moment.